It's literally like 2:30 in the morning and I cannot sleep. So I figured I would kind of do this video that I kind of promised as like a health update, what's been going on the last 5 months, um, that kind of stuff, hopefully answering some questions that people might have. So I and just kind of how I'm doing. So I wanted to clarify why I had the surgery. I had the surgery because I had a slow part in my intestine, the small intestine, for years now. And my motility specialist recommended the surgery because they take that part out during the surgery anyway. And obviously, lifestyle changes, etc. There was other benefits to it. And going into the surgery, I had a year to prepare, taking classes, etc. That's a different video. But needless to say, I had a lot of hope and faith that this was going to give me a healthier life, a happier life, a life in general, to move forward with my goals, my husband and I's goals, just moving forward in life. We got married in February, so, and then I had my surgery May 21st of this year, and I was discharged the next day. I was only there for one night. If I keep looking down, I kind of have these like bullet points to help me remember, because truly, like, my memory is shot. Like, we'll get to that. So while I was in the hospital when I had the surgery, this is just kind of a mini story time. I was in the recovery room to where like my mom and Jack could see me. But I just woke up from surgery, and I handed them the EDD paperwork for them to fill out, for me to get like a month or so off of work. 4 to 6 weeks is what they suggested. So they call me, like call my, not room, but like, I can't remember if they called the nurse and she handed me the phone. Like, I just woke up from anesthesia. Anyway, this person, I don't remember who it was, I think it was the PA, was asking me why I needed this EDD disability, like why I couldn't go back to work. And I was like, I just had surgery. So, like, with the most raspy voice, because I was so intubated. I was intubated, so I was so like, ugh. And I could barely talk, and they could barely hear me on the phone. And I'm like, I just had surgery. Like, I don't know. So I just kind of wanted to mention that because I feel like that sets the tone for the rest of the next 5 months. So I left the following day. The hospital is a couple hours away from where I live. Usually about like 4 hours with traffic, especially at the time that we left. What was a 4-hour trip turned into about a 6.5-hour trip because of how often I had to use the restroom. I had to stop made my mom stop multiple times, because as soon as we left the hospital, I was so sick. It was like that for a couple weeks. I was given kind of this runaround of reaching out to the surgical team. They would tell me to go to the ER, and then the ER would tell me to go to the primary. I don't know exactly how many times in between when my surgery was and then when I was admitted to their hospital. I was in the ER, but total throughout the last 5 months, I've been to the ER 13 times. Because they've told me to. So I kind of just did what I was told. I would tell the surgeon my situation. The ER would do labs and sometimes barely give me fluids. Like, even, like, I would go home with, like, the lab paperwork and look things up or whatever, and things on it says abnormal. And I'm never told these things in the hospital. And my primary is just a primary, and she doesn't want to touch a surgical patient. Like, the point of everything is that the surgeon takes care of you. So I played this game, did this loop for a while. All the way until, I think I already said this, I was admitted on June 10th for 3 days. Where they gave me so many nutrients and like magnesium, and I don't even remember anymore, like so many things, to kind of get me back to where I was. And this was not even a month after my surgery. So in between the admission, like the rest of the summer, really, I've been suffering. I literally throw up. I can't eat. I can drink water okay, but I cannot eat, especially like protein. I can't explain it. So I had an appointment on August 21st with my I'm tired and my brain literally does not work. On August 21st, I had a dietitian appointment. And we kind of talked about increasing like my hydration and trying like different protein and like cottage cheese, which not me. I don't like cheese, never liked cheese. And I know it's not cheese, but like it gives me the same vibes. And this is key, she suggested me seeing a gut psychiatrist to see if any of this is like mental, I guess. So I was at this point willing to do anything. So that was my last contact with my dietitian. August 21st. And I reached out. I didn't hear anything about a referral for the gut psychiatrist. I reached out on message through the portal on September 16th. So almost a month later. Like, I was given it week after week and finally wanted to give her an update and ask for an update. And I was met with this stranger, like, replying, not my dietitian that I'm used to. And this person was asking me the same questions over and over again, which is very agitating, especially when you're in this loop where you're telling the same, or 50 people the same story over and over and over again. So, yeah. I was told that they would forward the messages to her, and when she got back into the office, because she was out of the office, they would basically let me know. Like, she would reach out. Essentially told by this stranger that was also a dietitian, but not my dietitian, that she would be at our scheduled appointment, which was scheduled for October 6th. In between then, I did go to the hospital for my mental health. With my physical health, that's such a trigger for me. Especially from everything that I've been through the last 10 years. It took a real mental toll on myself. So I went to the hospital for I went to the hospital for my mental health, where I was diagnosed with suicidal ideation. So we came up with like a safety plan that kept me out of the psych ward, like a 5150 hold, because that would have done more damage than good for my mental health. I had plenty of support around me. I was safe at home, etc. So we had to have a safety plan. On the 3rd of October, I saw my primary, and she's amazing. She understands and heard me, on how serious this all is, how miserable I am. And, suggested that I fire my bariatric team and find someone more local. I definitely strongly considered what she was saying. I just kind of wanted to get through the couple of appointments that I had with the bariatric team to see what they had to say. So on October 6th, which was my appointment with my dietitian that I was essentially promised to see her at, she didn't show up. Yeah, she didn't show up. So I cried hysterically. It's also the day that I found out a childhood and high school and just overall friend that I've known since childhood passed away. It was a horrible day. So clearly didn't help my mental health, but safety plan in place. I took it day by day, or hour by hour, sorry. Because I had a therapy appointment the following day on the 7th. So the following day, on the 7th, I went to therapy for the first time in a long time. I think everybody should go to therapy, but it came to a point before where I felt like therapy wasn't as helpful for me. I felt like I kind of was stable with certain things. I could vent to certain people about certain things, etc. I was kind of feeling, I don't know, a little bit more glimmer of hope after the therapy session. She provided me a couple more resources, and advice, and I was just overall hopeful. On the 9th, October 9th, I was dropped due to my insurance. I guess when it comes to like my insurance, it's called XYZ, but when it is ran for behavioral health, it's ran under ABC, as an example. So she didn't accept my insurance. But don't worry, she told me she could offer me visits for $125 a visit, and she wanted to see me twice a week for the next 6 weeks. Essentially, like, over $1,000. And I don't feel comfortable at this moment sharing very many details because I feel like it's more not beneficial. But I ended up in the crisis unit. I did try to hurt myself impulsively, but it was by no means an attempt, but I did hurt myself out of frustration. And I was evaluated. I stayed in the crisis unit all day. That was the first time I got a little bit of sleep in a long time. And they let me go to my psychiatrist so I can make a further plan. So I saw my psychiatrist the same day, later that day. Like, I arrived in the morning time, like at 8 or something like that, and then I left at 3. No. It's just really hard for me to admit and say out loud and potentially post if I leave this in. But my psychiatrist I saw was livid with the way I've been treated and ignored and just plain not heard by my bariatric team. Very disappointed. The following days, when I was seeing my surgeon for the first time since my surgery, that appointment lasted 10 minutes. I did feel like she heard me and was listening to me and understood that I am pretty severely suffering, and said that she would like to do some testing to figure it that would give her more answers. So we're potentially doing an endoscopy and a CT to see if there's anything that we can see going on. My future plans, I guess, is I'm getting a second opinion from a different nutritionist that is covered by my insurance. I double checked, to kind of go over my lab work and, like urine lab and all that kind of stuff, to kind of get a better understanding of where I'm at, like physically, and I'm hoping for some, like, information that I can go to my dietitian that I see on October 15th and just be like, hey, this is what's going on, and then get her opinion as well. And then I got a follow-up from the crisis team. There's this amazing woman I've been working with. I have her personal number. She literally called and texted me today. Because it was a Friday that I went in, we called over like 10 therapists, and they haven't gotten back to us yet, but usually they have like Fridays or Mondays off, and it was the weekend, so I'm not really expecting a whole lot from that, but I am waiting to schedule for a new therapist, and I am angry. I am suffering. I am miserable every day. If I try to eat, I'm miserable for hours. I typically throw it up. I live on Zofran, which is an anti-nausea, all the time. And nothing helps. I literally have a heating pad on my tummy at all times. I went to the hospital for kidney pain, and they said that I was flank pain, that it was muscle pain. They didn't even run any tests, but that's what they said. I'm tired of this constant loop. I'm tired of being sick and sick of being tired. I have hiccups, excuse me. But I'm not re-recording any of this. But yeah, that's essentially where we're at this point in time. I'll try to provide more updates, more constant updates. But things move really slow, and yeah. So if you have questions or I'm not very clear on anything, or I don't know, let me know. I can answer. I'm an open book. I will put in the information for Nevada County, the county that I live in, like their crisis number, the place that I went to, that helped me if anybody needs it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't really know how to end this, but I appreciate the support, and I'll keep you guys updated.